Alright, so last weekend we went and made the big Sky IPA Clone, went through all the brewing process, and it's been 7 days. So today I'm going to get my kegerator ready. I'm going to show you a little bit about my kegerator. Then once we get that done, I'm going to go ahead and clean my kegs. Not going to be kegging yet, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because I'm going to make up a batch of sanitizer. I'll also sanitize I'm going to go ahead and transfer it into a carboy so you guys can see what that looks like. We'll be adding the dry hops here in about 2 weeks. Then after I get done, I'm going to clean, make sure my carboy's clean, sanitize it. We're going to transfer the Big Sky IPA into the carboy. And like I said, the reason I'm doing this all at once is just so I can just use one batch of sanitizer and do all of it. So that being said, I'll go ahead and show you my keg. Alright, so this is my kegerator. It's a home-built kegerator. As you can see, it's a 2-tap kegerator. Just disregard that tap handle. It's only there because it looks better than a black plastic handle. Basically, this is just a Frigidaire mini fridge that I got at Lowe's. And when you open it up, you can see inside fits 2 Cornelius kegs, and back behind there you can't really see it, but I've got a CO2 bottle in there. Both of these are connected to the tap, and that's really all there is to this kegerator. I think it cost me around $450 or so to make. You can buy one of these kegerators that looks almost identical to this. You'll probably spend about $150 more to buy it from a store or a supplier. So I just wanted to go ahead and make my own. The kit I got actually included both the tower, the taps. It came with these little cheap black plastic tap handles. It came with 2 keg CO2 bottle, regulator, and extra set of O-rings. Pretty much everything you need to put together the kegerator except for the fridge. Now you can use a regular fridge with this too. You can use a deep freeze with a temperature controller. I just wanted something small, compact that would fit in my house, so this fit the bill. So that's really all there is to it. I'm going to go ahead and pull the kegs out and show you how I clean them. I'm going to go ahead and run through cleaning the kegs, cleaning the keg lines, and then sanitizing all of it too. So this is what the kegerator looks like with the kegs out. As you can tell, I had to do a slight modification inside the fridge so both the kegs would fit. Just taking the temperature control housing off and kind of moving it back. This is right here, these are the kegs. They're basically their old ball and lock Pepsi soft drink kegs. That's all there is to them. Now they use boxes with syrup in them, so these are getting harder to get, but this is what the kegs look like. They'll hold a 5-gallon batch perfectly. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how to open them, break them down, and we'll go ahead and clean them out first. Okay, so this is our keg. What you want to do first, you don't have to if you've used it, or if you haven't used it, but if you've used it, it's still probably pressurized with CO2. So first thing I'm going to do, these have a pressure release with that ring on the top. I'm going to pull that pressure release to release all the pressure that's built up in there. Okay, once that's done, they have a little bail on them. It's fairly self-explanatory. Flip that bail out and push that lid down. It should come up and you can kind of work it out. Since I'm in the bathroom, I'm gonna grab some toilet paper, set this on. These O-rings have what's called keg lube on them. It's a food grade sealer grease, and it gets kind of messy. So I'm gonna kind of wipe it off a little bit and set it to the side. Okay, if you can kind of see down in there, in the bottom of that keg, there's gonna be some nasty stuff. It's basically just yeast and goo and whatever else is left over. We're going to be cleaning that out, get rid of all that, and get this keg all cleaned up. What we're going to be using is OxyClean, and after we get done with the OxyClean, we're going to switch over to a sanitizer. And between each one of those, we're going to run some of it through our keg line, so we can go ahead and get those cleaned out. It's real important to clean your keg lines. Make sure they stay nice and clean. If not, you can get bad flavors in your beer. So that's what we're going to do next. So got my water heated up in the bathtub. First thing you're going to do is just go ahead and fill this up with some water, and we'll rinse it around before we put any OxiClean in it. The stuff that comes out of this can be pretty nasty. You might have to kind of mix it with some water to kind of thin it down when it comes out, because it's probably just going to be a yeast cake in there. It's going to smell good though. It'll smell kind of like beer and bread. What I do is I usually use half, 3/4 scoop of this Oxy. This isn't actually OxiClean. This is a generic. It works just the same. I'm going to dump that in there. Then we're going to fill it about half or 3/4 full of water and shake it up and make sure it's dissolved. Okay, I've got both my kegs filled about half, 3/4 full of hot water with the OxiClean in them. I'm doing them both at the same time, just because when you're doing them, you might as well do both of them if they're empty. So, the next step, I didn't clean the keg lube off of these. It's fine. I'm not really going to be kegging for a few more weeks, but I'll clean that off by the time I'm done. Once you get it in there, you really just need to shake it up. Make sure that OxiClean is dissolved. It needs to get heavy, obviously, because you have 3-4 gallons of water in there. Shake it up really good for a couple minutes. Once you're sure that it's all mixed up, what we're going to do is take it in and hook it up to our keg. I'll go ahead and do this one too. We'll just take one of them in there to hook up to the keg. We're going to run it through the lines, so we'll get some of that OxiClean going through the lines and get those cleaned out, and then we'll do the same thing with the sanitizer. Now, I'm using OxiClean and my Star Sand today. They do make a product called BLC, which is Beer Line Cleaner, that you can buy. It's kind of an all-in-one powder you mix in. I don't have any. I find this works fine, so this is the way I do it. I'm not saying it's the only way or the perfectly right way to do it, but it works for me. So I'm going to go ahead and get these both shaken up real good, and then we'll head into the kegerator and get it running through there. Okay, so we got the keg full of the OxiClean solution, and you can see I've got my kegs. You probably can't see that, but I've got it labeled in and out. A lot of them say on there. I just find it's easier to have that label on it for me, so I don't hook them up the wrong way. So my red line's my CO2. My clear line, this is going to be my beer line. I've also got these labeled to which side they go on. This one's labeled right, so it should be this one. It might not be. Hopefully it's got it labeled right here. So I've got that hooked up. Remember me mentioning the buckets that your malt extract comes in. Very handy. That's what I'm going to use it for right now. I'm just going to run that through. See, it's coming out there. It's basically just flushing that line out there. I'll let it run, for, I don't know, maybe get that half full. Then I'm going to switch over to the other one. While we're doing this, we're also going to clean out our faucets. They're removable. That's just another part of the equation. You want to make sure it's clean. They're really easy to take off with a faucet wrench, and I'll show you how to take those off here in just a minute. Okay, so we got the OxiClean ran through the keg lines. I only took one keg. You don't need to take 2 kegs in there to do that. You can use the same keg on both of them. So I'm going to release the pressure from the CO2 I used to pump through the lines. Pull that back off. That one has a little bit of pressure in it just from shaking up the hot water in it. Okay. Obviously, the next thing you're going to do is dump your OxiClean water out. And we'll do it for the other one. Okay, as far as the rinsing process, if you've ever worked with OxiClean, you know it leaves kind of not really a gummy residue, but it's just kind of slick, soap-like feeling. So what you need to do is once you get your kegs rinsed out with OxyClean, fill them about half full of water, seal them back up, shake it around, rinse it out, pour it out. You need to do that 3 times. That should be enough to get all the OxyClean residue worked out of there. Once we're done with that, we'll mix up some Star Sand and we'll do the same thing. So we got our kegs cleaned out. We're about to put the Star Sand in them. I want to show you how the faucets here work. We're going to take those off and clean them. They do develop gunk and stuff on them, so we want to go ahead and clean those while we're doing everything. The faucet wrench and all these faucets, they have these slotted holes in them, and might have to work it back and forth just a little bit, but you can get it started. Twist that off. Around this part right here, this is part of the valve. It develops gunk right in there around that, and we can disassemble all this. It can also get gunk up in there in your spigot, but these come apart real nice. I'll just take one apart right here so you can see. Come apart in pieces. They do have an O-ring on them to seal them up. As you can see, there's some junk on that, so you'll obviously want to clean that off. And then this part on the inside, the valve, it comes out too. And you can see this is a really hoppy beer, and it's got some gunk built up on it too. So you definitely want to make sure you keep those clean. A lot of times I'm the only one in my house that drinks beer, so it can take me a month, 2-3 months to drink a batch of beer that I make. This one I actually made in, I believe it was August when I made these 2 batches, and it's the 1st of February right now, and I'm just now finishing it off. I just drained my last keg yesterday. So this one, it wasn't as dirty. It's still dirty. We're going to go ahead and clean those while we're doing our cleaning, and as soon as we get that done, we'll go ahead and mix up our Star Sand and get it going through there.